world. We're going to be looking right now at what happens at the college sports level a little bit. We're going to be talking to Edward Orgeron, of course, the LSU head football coach, what he makes of all of this. He still wants to see a college football season salvaged, but that is proving a lot easier said than done. In the meantime, I do want to go to Casey Stegall following these fast-moving developments in Dallas. Casey.
Hey, Neil, yeah, it's pretty safe to say that how our students and young people around the country start this school year is going to look very different, and it's going to be a patchwork of a lot of different plans. And those are plans that are going to be based on advice from state leaders and also local leaders as well, depending on the COVID situation in various communities. Many public school districts like Austin, Texas, have pushed back their original start dates, like you were just talking about, by a couple of weeks. Others are beginning with online learning and then transitioning to in-person teaching, which is the plan down in San Antonio. A growing number of K-12 schools have also announced a mix of both virtual learning and in-person education. In North Carolina, for example, students are going to go to a classroom every other day or every other week. Masks are required for staff and students, as are daily temperature checks. Nearly all states are also giving parents the option. If schools are open, they can still elect to keep their child at home and participate remotely, as is the case now in South Carolina, although today the governor said virtual learning isn't as effective.
What we need to do is take every step at our disposal to see to it that our children get back in their classrooms where they all want to be, where the teachers want them to be, where the district personnel want them to be, and all of us want to be.
Colleges and universities also face unique challenges, most offering a mix of in-person and virtual instruction. UC Berkeley, for instance, is also placing limits on student housing, no more than 2 people assigned to a dorm room. Emory University in Atlanta will require all students living on campus to take a COVID test before they even move in. Everyone must wear a face covering in residence hall common areas, so really no matter where you live, getting back to learning and doing it safely poses some challenges and also is going to look different than people have ever seen it before, Neil.
All right, thank you, my friend, very much. Casey Stegall, following all of that, if we get any developments on these cities and locales that are looking to formally make that move to postpone the start of in-person training, we'll pass those along. Dr. Anthony Fauci was weighing in on this subject a little while ago today, saying that, among other things, he doesn't want to stop the nation in its tracks, but he does urge a pause. Take a look.
I believe we need to almost push the reset button. And by the pushing a reset button, I don't mean everybody locking down again. I mean, obviously, that's the more draconian, and I do not mean that. I want to make sure, because whenever I allude to it as something that should be considered, everyone thinks that I said that. No, what we need to do is say, we're not going in the right direction now. So we got to call a timeout, do a pause, and say, what do we need to do? We need to take a look, and maybe we need to walk back a bit and say, if you are going to open, we've got to get everybody on the same team.
All right, we need to take a pause. What does that mean? Let's ask Dr. Nicole Saphier, the Fox News contributor, Make America Healthy Again best-selling author. All right, he says take a pause. He's saying not to shut everything down, that he's been misinterpreted on that. As you know, Dr. Peter Navarro, among others, criticize the doctor for being wrong more often than he's right and giving false advice. He obviously chafed at that, challenged that, but where are you on this? The pause or an outright shutdown?
Well, Dr. Fauci definitely is under the microscope these days, and he has to be very careful what he says because he's criticized no matter what comes out of his mouth. I mean, he is correct in that there is glaring evidence of viral transmission throughout the communities of the country right now. And so, as we saw, that there is a possibility we can stop the virus. We saw what we've done in New York and New Jersey, but as Dr. Fauci said, there was harsh lockdown orders, and that is not a long-term solution. But this pause that he's referring to, I think that everybody collectively wants to get our children back in school. That should be our #1 goal right now. So pause and take a minute to think, what do we need to do as a society, as a country, to come together to do what's best for our children? And that may be stop going to in-person dining right now, certainly not going inside to bars and socialization. Maybe we should try and decrease the amount of inside socialization that is occurring right now. You see throughout the country, we're having clustered outbreaks because of house parties and large indoor gatherings. I think it is our time to take responsibility. We are in the midst of this global pandemic, but one that we know we can control by our own behaviors. So if we take the knowledge that we have from how to decrease the transmission, then we can lessen that